In this lesson, we're going to look at inputting the data for the woodblock. The woodblock is quite a complex part because you can't really hear it. On the score, Edexcel have only given us 2 bars of the woodblock. However, when you start analysing this, you do start realising that there's quite a few more parts, a lot of which is just repeated, but there are a few extra bits that kind of aren't so obvious. I'm not sure that I've got all the parts in yet, as I've only got the verse and the pre-chorus, and sometimes I think I hear it in the chorus, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So you need to be aware that you're going to have to probably listen out for this quite a bit, and it's taken me quite a time just to get this far. One of the techniques I did use to kind of analyse this is by going into the actual song file and using the EQ and just cutting out some of these lower frequencies, just by using this cut filter here, and just cutting out some of the lower frequencies just gave me a bit of an edge where I could actually hear the woodblock as it's placed between 1K and sort of 6Ks, maybe plus a bit. Okay, so that's one technique you can use in order to hear the woodblock. The other one that I've been using is just doing two bar loops. So I've set up my loop around this first 2 bar, and these are the 2 bars that Edexcel gave us. So if I just solo this and just play you the part that I've inputted from the score, I've already started mixing this. The reason it's so quiet is I've actually already turned down my volume, so if I pull the volume up, you should be able to hear that a bit better. Okay, just turn it down. Now we're just going to solo the actual song, take this off, and hopefully, because you've heard that rhythm, it should just be a bit clearer to what that rhythm is now.
Don't speak when you smash. Don't speak when you.
And once again, just like in the drum video, it's quite obvious to see when it does come in. The second bar is slightly different. This is what I've heard. So if I just make this now a 4-bar loop and see if you agree with what I've put in for these next couple of bars. This isn't written, this is just what I've been hearing.
Don't speak when you spit your venom, keep it shut. I hate it when you hush.
Okay, so I've made a 4-bar loop out of that, and then it repeats itself again. Like I say, you might not get this one done in one go. It's not as important to get this as exact as it was the drum part. You can keep coming back to it as you go through the process of inputting all this data. What you'll find is you'll kind of solo or you'll loop sections, and every now and again you'll just think, oh, I picked that up, oh, I've just heard that. So don't be worried if you don't get all the parts down straight away. Just work through it, get down what you can, and then move on, and hopefully as you progress you'll hear some of this stuff. Some of the other data that I've put in straight away, as well as the balance part, which is obviously really, really low, we've also got the panning. Now, to my ears, this is coming slightly out of the right. I've put it over at right 26 at the moment, but you could be in a bit closer than that. I certainly wouldn't push it much further than 26. Probably 15 might be quite good, around that sort of area. But remember, it's your task, so you need to listen and you need to think to yourself, actually, I either agree or I don't agree, and I'm going to do it this way, and that's absolutely fine. The other thing that I was hearing with the particular instrument that I've chosen, which is this percussion stroke orchestral kit, and the woodblock can be found on these 2 notes here, C3 and C sharp 3. What I've found is actually there's a high boost on their woodblock. If we listen to it again and then listen to my one, so here's theirs.
Don't speak.
Okay, and here's my one. There's actually a high boost on it. How I'm hearing that at the moment is about roughly 6K, but I mean, if I turn that off, you'll hear the difference. Just makes it slightly more airy, and it just gives it that kind of high-end feel. So there is definitely a boost on it. How and where you decide to put it, anywhere between 5 and 7 is probably appropriate, and you might feel that it can go elsewhere. Okay, I think that kind of brings me to the end of this lesson. So spend a bit of time, listen out for the wood block, try and get in as much of that detail as you can, find out from the piano roll as you go through if it's right or not, and really just do your listening to make sure it's right before you move on. A lot of soloing between the tracks is really important, okay? So switching between the tracks, so listen to the song first, then listen to the wood block, then maybe even put your drums in with it to see how it's sounding with the drums. So let's do that now. Okay, and as you progress, that's what we're looking for. Just keep analysing it and keep going through it. I reckon that task will probably take you the best part of an hour to an hour and a half, so don't rush it, take your time.